Nice. Recording is on. Okay, welcome to the Claude Content Workshop. So this is probably going to be maybe 20 minutes. Might not even be that. Depends how long it takes for Claude to play along. So it's going to be pretty short, but hopefully it gives you some good insight. I'm going to start with a little bit of context. Then I'm going to give you a demo of how I'm using Claude. And then we're going to get into the actual engineering and some explanation of how you can actually set this up for yourself. So, and we'll get into traps as well, like where I think you should be moving away from and where you should be moving to. But where I've found this particularly useful for me is I have a ton of ideas. They often come to me at like times when it's not easy to like implement, right? So like if I'm training in the gym or I'm listening to a podcast or I'm driving or like wherever, these ideas will pop into my head and I'll be like, oh yeah, that'd be like a really, really good idea. And what I've been doing to date is opening my Notion, creating a little page in there with the title of my content idea, and then just voice noting and transcribing the concept of the idea. So I might be like, oh, I've just had a thought. I'll go in. If I'm in the gym, I'll just type it quickly. Content idea on this. And what I've gathered over like the past year or two is this Notion document just filled with ideas, and I have barely executed on any of them because suddenly it feels overwhelming. And also, when you start creating content, uh, there's this thing that happens, this resistance where it's like, oh, it's going to take a bit of time, even when it's dead simple, like a carousel. It's like you got to go into Canva, create the slides, you got to download it, then you got to upload it again. So as simple as it is, there's always this resistance in my mind of like, oh, I'll just push that back, and then it never gets done. So this is why I'm finding this workflow particularly useful. But we have a problem right now, and this problem is going to keep going, I think, in the industry of like saturation of AI content. It's frigging everywhere. Like you can see AI content a mile off with overuse of emojis and just the language and the phrases which keep popping up. So it's really, really easy for us to like lose our authentic voice and just blend in with everyone else. And when everyone else is doing it, it's going to lose its impact overall, right? When like AI first came out and like posts were going out, they're like, oh wow, like, this is great. Now it's just like, another AI post. So we really want to work on maintaining our own voice, our own ideas, our own authentic expression that we're putting out into the world, but then just using AI just to speed everything up. And for me, like English grammar was not my strong point. I have these good ideas, but sometimes I just struggle like structuring it so it reads well, or structuring it for Instagram's algorithm, getting a catchy hook and getting the CTA right. So this is what we use AI for. So 80% comes from us, and then 20% comes from AI. I hope I said that the right way. 80% from us, 20% from AI. So let me just give you a little bit like of an overview of what this looks like before I get into the demo. So every day, or Monday to Friday, I will sit down and I will write an email. This is like coming from my own ideas. I'll get AI to help structure that a little bit, and then I'll upload that into my Notion. I've also got all of the ideas that just sporadically come to me that also go into my Notion as well. And then what I'm planning to do is have like workshops like this or my YouTubes or even transcripts from calls that I have with clients, making sure to filter out names, etc. Like all of that just goes into this giant database. So I can just go to Claude and be like, hey, give me some content. And it will just pull it from like my digital brain. And then it will just go off and start creating it. So let me walk through a little bit of an example of what this looks like in real life. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get into a demonstration. Can you just give me a thumbs up if you can see Claude right now? Can anyone see Claude? Yes. Perfect. Thanks, Sam. Excellent. Excellent. Thanks, Stephen. Okie dokie. Right. So if you're not familiar with Claude, Claude is very much like ChatGPT. It's an AI model. There's a free to use and there's a pay to use. Now, first thing here, if you want to use Claude projects, which is what I'm going to be teaching you, you have to have the paid version of Claude, which is about 15 quid a month. So that's just the first thing to mention. Projects is not available on the free version yet. So this is the traditional thing, like where you would come in and you might say, hey, give me some content ideas. And what I've built is called a Claude project, which I'm going to be kind of teaching you how to do. So if I go into projects and then into my Instagram carousels project, and then what I can say, hey, can you pull some of the latest ideas from my Notion content ideas folder? Write a carousel post for me, and then start creating that in Canva with my template. And then I can just hit send on this. Now, while this is working away, one thing to be wary of when you're creating digital content is like pretty soon, or let me just answer this. Yeah, just pull directly from my Notion folder, please. Pull from my Notion content idea folder, please. Yeah, you don't want to, like, we want to optimize for speed and quality of our voice and the words rather than over designing everything. Okay, let's just see what ideas this comes back with. So it's delving into my Notion right now, and I'm going to show you how this all connects later. But if we were just to create this in Claude, which it has the power to do, and say, hey, create this carousel, what you'll find is it will look really nice and polished, but also 50 other coaches of the content is going to start to look exactly the same. So I really encourage you to have a template that's your own in Canva so that you can start to have some consistency with your brand, but also not blend in with everyone else. Okay, cool. So it's come up with 5 ideas and then it's written out these posts for me. Most coaches trade a job for a business that owns them, always on, chasing trends. It happens quietly. You say yes to everything. You scale fast. The business grows. The feeling doesn't. You don't need more clients. You need a business you actually want to run. What would it look like if your business felt like freedom again? You start this to be free, not to build a better prism. So I've got a few different kind of styles. One's a bit mindset-y. Let's go with this content one, carousel 2. So I'll just say 2. Yes, go ahead. Cool. So there's a template that I've attached to this. And hopefully it's just going to go off and start creating this. So while it's doing this, and it's going to start talking to itself, some other traps. Like sometimes we spend a lot of time like going backwards and forwards with AI, particularly if we're trying to like visually design it and it could have been faster just to like copy and paste the thing, right? So this is workflow is optimized for speed, where it's like loading now and I can go off and do something, and then I can come back and it's just done. Hopefully it will pull through in a moment. Now, I have programmed this thing to do 5 carousels at once. Hopefully for this demo, it's just going to do one, so it doesn't take too long. But the idea is you'll just let this run in the background, and it's just going to start creating the thing. We can go in, see what it looks like, and then we can just hit post, which is what I'm going to show you how to do. Now, the other like trap that I want you to be wary of with AI content is sometimes it plays to the smaller part of us where we just think, hey, if I just create a load of AI content, that means that I don't have to like show up online. It can just be done for me. And what I encourage you to think about is like, this is going to help you create more content, but you still need to show up, right? Because people buy people. If your strategy is just relying on completely AI content, it's not necessarily going to create the environment or the connection that's required for people to buy your coaching. There's a great workshop that you can find in school. Let me just open up school. If you go into school community at the top bar and search content that converts, and there's this Hormozy versus Aristotle replay content that converts replay, where it dives into like the core persuasion techniques that are required for people to actually buy from you. And I've fed this into my GPT, and you can watch this and kind of feed it into your GPT. But people act on emotion, right? So you need your content to shift beliefs and elicit emotion for them to take action. So that's why like just posting value content often isn't enough. So go back and watch that. I can link it to you afterwards if you can't find it. And what is this? Claude reached its tool limit for this turn. Typical that it doesn't work straight away on the live replay. How many times have I practiced this week? Okay, right, it looks like it's here. So let me just click open on this, and it will come into my Canva. And this is the preset template. Can you just give me a thumbs up that you can see my Canva, or are you still seeing my Claude? If I've got Canva here, can you just let me know? Or let me know in the chat. Did you see my Canva when it flashed up? Let me know. Still Claude? Okay, let me try this. Cool. So this is, I clicked on the link, and then this is what it's done, right? Is it put it into my pre-made template that's already got my logo on there. And then I can just go through and then I can just be like, yeah, okay, let's go ahead. Now, a little hack for you here to post straight to your Instagram, rather than having to download this and then upload it again, you can just share this straight from here. So you can go and share. Then you can connect your Instagram. You're obviously going to have to log into your Instagram the first time that you do this so that there's a connection. But mine should already be linked. I can say carousel post, and then I can just add the slides in order. Right, and then when that's done, I can just write in my captions. I can hit publish now, and that will go straight live. Or I can schedule it. So I can go in and be like, right, okay, this one is going to go on Thursday, schedule. Then I can go back to my other ones and then I can schedule them in as well. So you can see how this workflow probably going to take me, I don't know, 20 minutes to create content for the whole week and schedule it across the week. So then I don't even have to think about it. So my workflow right now is Mondays, I'll do this, I'll schedule it for the week. But then what I'll do is I'll also supplement this with me just like showing up or like whatever's happening on the day so that I'm still kind of present on my socials as well. Cool. So hopefully that all makes sense. So what I want to get into is like how we actually set this up and the steps that you need to take. So let me share my Claude again. Now this is the Claude desktop app, but you can just make sure I am sharing it. Yeah, you can just do this on the web version as well. Now, when I set this up, I watched a video of how to set it up, but then what I actually ended up doing was just coming into Claude and just asking Claude. I was just like, "Hey, I've just watched this this webinar on how to set up automated content to Canva. Can you just give me the steps so I can work through them one by one?" So that's literally what you can do, right? You can just come in here and chat with it. What it's going to get you to do is firstly, connect your assets, right? So you can say, how do I connect Notion? Rather than you having to kind of like look around, it's going to tell you, okay, find settings, integrations, connectors. So you're in your connectors, you'll connect your Notion and you'll connect your Canva. Now, if there's somewhere else that you want to kind of keep your idea bank, maybe it's a Google Doc, maybe it's somewhere on your hard drive, maybe it's a different app, you can obviously link that app instead. But I find using Notion works well for me. So that's the first thing, getting your connectors. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to come to projects and you're going to create your first project probably, right? So it's going to be new product project up here in the top right. Give it a name. And then you can write, kind of what the idea is. Now this next bit or next two bits are really important. You've got your instructions, which is the prompt that you're giving Claude to act on. And then you've got your files for reference. So if I come into my project, no, that's the wrong one. So I've got three things here. I've got my brand Bible, and if you already work with me, you'll know what that is, but that is your document which outlines your values, who you love to work with, what you love to help them achieve, etc. Everything about your personal brand. So it's got a really good understanding of who you are. It's also got a brand writing style. Now, again, you can ask ChatGPT, or Claude, sorry, to help you write a brand writing style. And what I did for this is I found a few different creators that I really like their content. I like how they write, I like how they speak, I like the kind of subject matter. And I said, these are the few people that I kind of like. Incorporate my style, but also pick the best bits out of their style as well, because this is how I want to sound. Put that into a guide. And then the final thing that I have here, don't know if I can open this, 1,000 viral hooks. So this is data that was scraped from Instagram of 1,000 different Instagram posts and different niches that went viral. So it's got some context of what good hooks to create, because the hook is always 80% of the work, right? People don't scroll unless the hook is compelling or intriguing. So those three things are there to give your AI bot some context about how you write, who you help, and also some context for how it's going to perform on Instagram. So upload anything that you feel is relevant. If you didn't connect your bot to Notion, what you could in fact do, like if you've got a load of content ideas already, is just upload it here as well, right? You could just upload a Google Doc of all of your content ideas into this too. And then your instructions. See if I can go into this. Again, you can ask Claude to help build your prompt. And this is exactly what I did. I went into Claude and I said, hey, building out this project, help me write the main prompt for this. I went backwards and forwards a little bit, but I said, like, here's some of the people that I like. Here's my brand Bible. Here's the hooks. Here's what I want you to do. Pull ideas and topics from my Notion, turn them into carousels, each one feeling authentic and in my brand voice. And then it actually did this for me in terms of like, here's the carousel output that I think you should have. Some content rules. And this came from that workshop that I referenced earlier. And then some bits in here to help performance. And then some just clarity on the workflow, and also importantly here, the carousel template. So you can paste your Canva template into here and say, hey, here's the template that I want you to use each time. Maybe you have a few different templates, maybe you call them template 1, template 2, and in your prompt, you can say, hey, these are the 2 different templates that I've got. After that, you save those instructions and you just start playing. And there's a little bit of back and forth of like setting it up and then testing it and see how it comes out. But you can use Claude to kind of help with the snagging, help you tidy up and say, hey, didn't come out quite as I expected. The first couple of times I've done this, it just started creating the images, but not in Canva. So it was using up like a ton of AI credits, but also it was kind of like pushing out stuff that just looked like everyone else. So I had to go back and say, hey, how do I just prompt this correctly so that it goes direct to my Canva and creates it in there. And that's it. You can start playing. So hope that's useful. If you've got any questions, whack them in the chat. Yeah, I will record this. So if you want the recording for it as well, just give me a nudge on the message and I'll send over the recording so that you can watch it back. And then, yeah, I'll just encourage you to have a little play with this. Question from Jeanette, does Instagram like you creating content off its platform? Yes is the simple answer. It is totally fine with approved suppliers is the wrong word, but like Canva, ManyChat, like there's a few programs that Meta is fine with, and it's not going to hurt your algorithm, like IG edits, posting from there. But yeah, like only use approved stuff. This is why it's a little bit like, because you'll see other videos going around of like, hey, use this tool to post directly to Instagram. That comes with real risk if it's not Meta approved, because you can get your account banned. So I'd only recommend going through Canva or saving it and uploading it yourself. Fabulous. Thank you for coming along. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a good night's rest, Sat. Yeah, catch you soon. Thanks, Hart. Good to see you.